One thing I thought, I never would have thought would be a pain in the butt. And if you guys, some of you guys that just, what the heck is wrong with this door? Why is it making that noise? Let's set this down for a second. It's making a godly noise. Can't have that at your own shop, can you? So you know how it is. Nobody wants to fix their own stuff, right? Let's take a look, skis. It could be this weather seal up here. This flashlight, I gotta upgrade. If you guys know a slim flashlight, let me see if I can get lights click on in here. Come on, come on. Get your arms. The problem is I like this flashlight because it's slim and it fits in my holster that I always carry on me. Right here. But I need it to get brighter because my eyes are getting older. Oh, it's probably this. It's all drooped funny. Let's just give it a little tug. Just gotta check this out. It's making a weird noise. Never even heard that kind of noise before. We are going to talk about, just wait for a few people to jump in. Appreciate you hitting the like button. We're going to talk about some of the money you should do. Oh, it's all better. It's just that weather seal. I don't know why it fell down. We got to get some light bulbs changed in here. The old Genie light bulbs are they're puking out. Where are they? Right there. It's not happy. It's on its last leg. Anywho, one thing I was going to talk about once you start getting more vehicles, these are things that you don't really think about. And it seems like the older you get, the faster it goes. Whoosh. I always like how the lights turn on in here. But you got to do tags. These things, for license plates and all that. They're kind of not fun because you got to always, it seems like, and I know it's only once a year. It's not that big a deal, but man, I tell you what, once a year it comes around really fast. I'm getting set up here. And if you guys got anything, you're more than welcome to throw your 2 cents in. I'd love to hear it. So I had a gentleman reach out to me. He left a comment. I can't quite remember who it was at the time. But get you on this old, how unprofessional. Get you on this old tripod here. Get you so you're a little more stabilized. But he was talking about, and I thought, that's kind of a good one. I thought since I had to jump over here to the shop anyways. Hang on. Mailed, emailed. Who knows? Department something. Something from the old Uncle Sam crap. I tell you what. Welcome. Hello. What's up, Mr.? It's Mr. Jack32. Jack32 says hi. How you doing? Audio good. Everything hit the like button. Awesome. Appreciate it, Rob. So you guys are more welcome. Like always, you're always. We got Tony in the house too. Nice. Good to see you, Tony. Maybe Tony can put a little 2 cents in here too. I'd like to hear what Tony's opinion is. So here's the thing, when you ask me about what should I do with my money, I got to turn the old camera on here because I always forget the button. It always times out after like 3 or 6 days or something like that. But I like it on, so that way in case a boogeyman's pulling up or walking around, because you just never know. You just never know. The world's getting goofy out there. But so we're talking about, what should you do with your money? I am sure there is a great thing about so much money you should invest, and I'm probably not the guy for that in some degree. But here's the thing, when you're doing your business, the way I've always looked at it is you got to remember your business is basically like a garden. What do you mean, like a garden? Well, you reap what you sow, right? And you got to you know, you got to take care of it. So if you see something, you know, the weeds are starting to come in and, you know, you got to do something about it, right? If you think it needs fertilizer, you got to put some fertilizer on it. You got to take care of it. You got to de-weed it. Cheers, by the way. So those are some things that you got to do, you know, with your business. That's how I kind of always looked at it, right? It's like a garden. You know, you gotta invest, right? You want to expand your garden. Maybe you want a little more variety next year. So don't be afraid to take and, you know, put money into it as needed, right? It's a tough one. Let's see here. I'm gonna get this up a little more so I can get this charger going just in case, because this thing gets a little goofy sometimes, just a little. Of course, I lost my tripod today. Had one of the kiddos broke it in the car door. It happens. It happens. Whew. Are we there? I think we're there. All right, what do we got? What's Tony got? I always like Tony. Tony's a good guy. My dad always taught me, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Ah, that's a good one. That is a good one. I would definitely agree with that. It's kind of tough because I know, you know, for me, it's like one of those things, like, I don't know if I so much say I regret, but, you know, I put a ton in. And I've been very lucky. I've been very blessed. Got a great crew. I mean, the place pretty much runs on its own. You know, but I think I push a little bit harder. Now, the real estate can be slower, but you got to always remember, the way I look at it is, you know, if you start a business too, right, there's things you can do, right? You can start building credit on it so you can get more credit. It all depends, you know, if you're not afraid of debt, you know, then go for it, you know, but if you're, it's tough, right? It's because everybody's situation is different. Now, what I mean though too is there's good debt, there's bad debt, right? You going out and buying that brand new fancy car that doesn't produce nothing, that can't haul nothing to the job site or do whatever, it's just for shows. Well, that's not such a good investment. You know what I mean? That thing is sitting there, and even though maybe it's paid for, you got to remember it's, you know, and it's one of those things, if you can afford it, right? What I've heard over the years, the one thing I've liked now is that if your investment, you know, if your passive, you know, cash flow can come in and pay for it, then go for it. You know what I mean? Instead of working harder, you know what I mean? So that's something I'm always kind of looking at a little bit. You got to be a little bit smart on. What's up? Let's see here. It says, I don't know if that's Andrew Tate. I don't know who that is. No, he's Jeffrey Espstein. Yes. Is the reading chat? Are you Andrew? I don't know who Andrew is. He's ignoring you. Haha. That's right. I don't know what that is. What do we got here? What do we got? This message was held. Let's see if we have to get rid of it. Oh, gosh. You know how it is. Some people's kids. What should we do with this one? We'll just go like that. How about that? Perfect. So, anywho, like I said, if you guys got anything too that you want to ask about garage doors or anything, or add into this, that would be great. I got to go through and make a few adjustments, if you know what I'm saying. So Rob's got reinvest in your employees, better tools, get the AC fixed in their truck, make their job easier. That's good. That's good. No, you gotta. There's a whole bunch of things. You know, like I said, it's just, you know, if you got money to splurge, you know, I'd always recommend, you know, try to invest it. You know, try to invest it. You got to invest it into your business too if you're doing if you're basically any business. I don't know if it's so much, you do need to have a little bit of rainy day fund. There's no doubt about that. For some, unexpected things, especially like a transmission blowing up in a vehicle, smashing out a window or something, just angle iron falls off the truck. There's all kinds of things that are going to come up. You know what I mean? So you got to have a little. And if I had to say, I don't know. I think I'd want to be sitting if in the perfect world, right? Probably like maybe about $10,000. That's what I'd like to have sitting. You know what I mean? Flat tires. Yep. Something too. This is what I do for a little trick. I actually, when I was kind of more engaged in the business, what I would do is I was buying. I think I bought I was getting somewhere around 2. I think it could probably be up to 3. About 2 to 3 tires a month. That's how I would do it. I just start stacking them, right? Because I knew there were certain vehicles that were coming up. Instead of just doing it all at once, I don't know. I'm always kind of weird like that. I just don't like going down and spending $800, $900, $1,200 on a set of tires. So what I'd do is I'd peel it off real slow. There's little things you can do like that to help save on things. But tires, those happen. Flat tires, trailer tires, those get, scissor lift blows hydraulic line. Scissor lift needs batteries. It's definitely good to have a little bit of a slush fund. But like I said, if you can, like I said, I think if you can do something too, don't forget about whatever. Try to find, I like what Tony says, diversify. It's kind of funny, no matter, I think whatever I've done, I've always had multiple jobs in a sense. And some things, especially with the economy, things come and go. You know what I mean? Like the economy changes on you. So you got to kind of adapt to it too, what does it say? Inventory. Yep, inventory is good. Typically for me, for Rob, what he's saying, I typically try to find it towards the end of the year. If you got a surplus and you need to, basically get rid of some, you need some money to kind of go somewhere that needs to be, so the old Uncle Sam doesn't take so much. You know what I'm saying? For us, we got the fuel tanks, inventory's good. That stuff that, doors, openers, angle iron, anything like that. Like I said, that's always good. What does this say? But yes, invest, like I said, if you can do anything, that's always good too. Reinvest employees helps out a lot. There's a lot of things. There isn't really one, as I've gotten older, what I've noticed is there's not one magic pill. You know what I mean? You just gotta, you just, whatever kind of comes towards you, you just gotta keep, and you gotta, really the big thing is you gotta hustle and grind. It's like I said, it's a lot of work. I'm thinking, Rob, I don't know whereabouts you're located, in what city or state. I'm just kind of curious. Oh. But like I said, you guys are more than welcome. I seen Andrew jump. I don't know if Andrew was being joking around here. He says, name a car for an edit. I don't even know what that means. You know how it is. We kind of get those ones that flop in here. Ohio. So if you're Ohio, what do you deal with for brand of garage doors? You deal with Wayne Dalton? Because Wayne Dalton's real heavy down there. I'm just curious. What kind of brand? You deal with Clopay? You deal with, I found out, well, I've already known this, right? But Clopay for us, they're every 2 weeks. So they're kind of, so it's I got one today for a builder, right? He was asking me. He's he just brung it up. I had to call him. And he says, when's my door? And I said, oh, so I asked the old secretary. She says, I think the 9th or like the 23rd or something like that. I can't remember what the exact dates because on the phone. And of course, I'm on the phone. But I was like, she's like, it just depends. They send it this week or they send it in 2 weeks. And it's like, oh. What's up, Mr. Sky? I like the cheers. Cheers. I like the fingers. Rock on. Okay, so we sell Clopay, but deal with a lot of overhead doors. Why are you dealing with a lot of overhead doors? Is overhead in the residential? Like when you say overhead around here, like overhead's big commercial. Like they're all commercial. Like I can't tell you the last time I ever seen an overhead door in a residential in our neck of the woods. They're not, I don't say they're not even really prominent over here with overhead. It's more or less kind of more towards our bigger city, the GR, which is about 45 minutes an hour away. Wow. Both resi and commercial. Does overhead, I'm just curious, Rob, does overhead, the residential ones, they nip the corners of the angle? I wonder if that's kind of like they train everybody across the board. That was always one trademark I always seen with overhead garage doors is, at least on the residential, they'd clip all the corners. Just thought it was kind of always a nice touch. I don't know. I just always kind of was like, I don't know. I don't have nobody that tall that's going to be up there, but it's just a nice touch, for whatever. Clip the corners of the angle. Oh, so there's a big overhead company in the area. So it's like when their stuff's getting old or breaks or somebody runs in the garage door, you're like ripping their stuff out like, overhead. Be pretty cool, come to think of it. If you ever go past there, take some pictures if you get a chance. Take a video and just take a screenshot or something out of it. It'd be pretty cool to see their facility, how many trucks and stuff are, if they're like ours though, they're buried. They're back in like I don't know what you call it, industrial, like an industrial complex. So you have to go down a road to another road to another road, and then there they are. And every time their place around in the GR area is nice. It's a nice place, They've never like done me wrong, but man, are their prices just outrageous. You know what I mean? I remember I wanted to install like the RSX openers because they're the direct couple to a jack, for a jack shaft. And I was like, yeah. I watched that with a commercial door, with a broken spring lifted up. And I was so impressed. It only had one spring, good spring, another spring was broke. Massive door. That thing just handled it like a champ. No slipping limits, no jumping teeth on chain. And I was like, I want that. And I was like, this is great. Because my buddy even hit it. He worked there at this place. And he's like, watch this. He's like, it still runs. And I'm like, no. Like in my head, I'm like screaming, no, don't hit that button. And he does. And I'm watching it. And I'm like, I'm just waiting for it to go, kunk, 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 kunk. And something just to blow up. And he ran it all the way up. I'm like, how did it do that? And then it ran all the way down. Didn't miss a beat. I'm like, then when I got up there, started working, I seen everything was direct coupled, and I'm like, everything's in a gear, in a gearbox inside the opener. I was like, that's why, they could do it. Not that I have noticed. I'll try to pay attention to the next time. Nice. Yeah, overhead around here, at least for the most part, they always nipped. Like when you got your drop. And it hooks to your to the track, the horizontal track. They'd always like nip the corner. I mean, all that, like typically any pointy spot that was all nipped. And I was just like, that's kind of a nice touch. I think I did see a couple that didn't have it. And I was like, oh, it must be the newbie or somebody that don't care. I don't know for sure. But it was just, I don't know. It was one thing I always kind of give them credit for. I was just like, they take a little extra pride. Their stuff was pretty solid. I don't know if I'm assuming they got some kind of training course. So it was always pretty top notch, It was always top notch. What's up, Sky? So what'd you do today? Sky, you do anything today? You install anything? Did you make more money sitting on the couch? That's how I always looked at it. That's how I always would tell people. I go, I could sit on the couch and make more money. They're like, how's that? I'm like, because at least I'm not going in the hole. You know, time I go out here, I install this, I did this, I drove too far. I had to go back 6 more times because something wasn't right. I shouldn't have fixed it. I should have just told them we can't do it. You know, I use mainly First United. Whoa, don't think I ever heard that one. Mainly First United. CHI, Martin, I've heard of Martin, CHI, Carriage House, LiftMaster, okay. But I have all the others here too, like Original Overhead, Windsor. I remember that. I remember a guy, he used to be out that way. He was installing, he's over here now. He's a, I don't know, he manages the AMAR. Yeah, I'm sure he still does. He was managed the AMAR facility. And he was telling me about Windsor. I think he said he liked them. You know, he really wished they were over here. Safeway. Yep. What's up, Mr. Rich? What'd you throw in there? What you got in there? What is that? Is that like a coffee cup or something? I don't know. We'll give it a cheers though. Here we go. Yeah, it's I'd like to get out that way. I really would. I mean, that's a lot of different variety of doors. I'd like to see all the, like some of the places, you know, where Sky is. I'd like to see like, you know, the facilities and just kind of how operations. I mean, because I think Sky, you guys got to install everything with battery backup, right? Everything's got to have battery backup. So just to see kind of the regulations, to see how things are, you know, what the driveways are like, slope, not slope, flat. This would be kind of cool. See what the houses are like, you know. Today I had home inspectors. Home inspectors to deal with. They are selling our house, so I have been scrambling to get our new home livable. Oh my gosh, dude, that's a lot of work. I know how that is. I was just this is just kind of how I am. Not really to do with garage door, but you know, it's like when it comes to the house stuff, I'm always like, which is not even related to your Sky. It's just I'm on my own here. But you know, I was talking to a guy, and he wants to sell his or something. I said, I know how this works, man. I said, I ain't going down this path. I said, first, I said, my house gets sold. I said, then I go, you know, I do it like in the springtime is what I aim for, you know what I mean? And then I got all spring, I got summer. I will crash, you know, typically do like a motorhome or a, you know, whatever, Airbnb, a rental, something, you know what I mean? So that's all finalized. I got my money. My money's in my bank account. I can pull it out. I can throw it on my bed and I can roll in it. I know it's real. Okay, I got it. I own it. It's mine. And then typically it's like then the hunt is for the next one because I just see too many problems. I know one of my bankers, she's going through that problem kind of right now. It was on contingency of them having it. They had a trailer park home. If that sold, well, that hasn't sold. She hasn't closed on her place yet. She already signed up for another place, which I don't know if she's going to keep that. I haven't gotten into that with her yet. And I'm just like, which I'm not going to lie. I kind of hope she doesn't get the other place because it has sewer problems. And they just rotor-rooted it to make it work. But you know how that works. And it's clay tile for the sewer. And I'm like, that ain't going to last. And she got a quote for like 3,000 and some change, which sounds too cheap. I'm thinking more like 5,000 to 8,000 is what because you know how those contractors are. We know how those contractors are. You know, it's like once they get into it, it's like you almost got to add 30% or double it. You know what I mean? Like it's like, you know, well, we ran into something. We found, you know, it's like the mechanic, right? You take a car in all the time, they call you, it's going to be $300. And you're like, okay, fine, go ahead. Then they call back 2 hours later. Well, we found something. I don't got good news. And you're like, I got bad news and I got good news. And you're like, give me the good news. Well, we're going to throw a free set of wipers in. You're like, and? Well, the bad news is now you need a flux capacitor and it's going to be 1200. And you're like, keep the windshield wipers. It's all tore apart. It's on the lift. What do you want to do? I don't know. I want to scream. So, Skyr, you CHI dealer in your area? I've heard they don't allow too many companies to be vendors in the same area. Ooh, what's up, Mr. Tanner? What about Iowa? We have so many cool things like corn. Oh man, that's funny. Oh man, I love it. What's Eric got? Says we are a CHI dealer, and there are like 3 and 4 dealers within 30 miles, so they don't care about distance. Maybe I should tell you. Get them from my main distributor, but I also pick them up from their factory in Stockton. Nice. Tony says, I love corn. Love it. Hello. So, here was something I had to do for some of you guys, because I know, is it Mr. K? Is it Casey? Casey, if you're out there, you need to speak up. I know you're, but anyways, Casey, he reaches out to me with emails and stuff sometimes, and I know he has a hard time with some of the distributors and whatnot. And I says, I subscribed. Oh, Amelia, awesome. Glad you're here. Oh boy, don't go too many here. You're gonna get crazy. You're gonna have to have it. You're gonna be called timeout. There's just that one that's got to ruin it, right? All right, let's just do that for right now. Okay. So here's the thing. So we deal with Clope. I had to use another location though. And I guess this kind of could show some people, it's one of those things you can, you just got to be kind of persistent, right? You can't really give up. So we didn't have an account with them. And of course, when I called, they, didn't want to do one because we have another door company that's really big in this area. And so they didn't want us. Nope, wouldn't do it. So I had to meet, and I had to use a farther distance address, right? And so I did. And then it finally, because once you kind of get in their system, it's like then you can kind of play with it to like a different, and you got to go kind of slow. So if you're looking for like instant gratification, don't do it. You know what I mean? Like everything is very slow and methodic. So I met with the guy, the sales rep. He was a younger guy, probably about my age actually. And I remember we were talking and stuff, and we finally got that we were going to deal with a certain location to get. And it was really weird because like we got one that's like 2 hours away. Now ours have to come from the one that's 3 hours away. That's north. It's just weird. But anyways, I remember finally I got it to work. Got it going. And the guy, I remember him saying like he's like he was, and it's hard to imagine this, but he was concerned because those guys, if they found out, they were big. I mean, they were, 4 or 5 times bigger than us. And he's like, we might lose that account. So that's why, and I kind of get it, why they do it. I had somebody text me. So, it's kind of one of those things like, it can be done. You might have to use a different location, and it just depends on how hard you want to try. But you got to keep swinging. That's the big thing. You got to keep swinging, especially if you want to get in there. Now, like I know, like Safeway, I know Wayne Dalton, I think is but it's kind of weird because you can manipulate these. Appreciate it, Mr. Sky says hit the like button. Appreciate it, you guys. Come down here. It says Tanner says I'll show you some of these monster egg doors. Ooh, I'm gonna take you up on it. I'll take you up on it. Let me get Josh going first. We'll get Josh in there, and then maybe I'll swing over there. Get it in the hot summertime. Just sweating. Smell that wind come off those cornfields. That's a good smell, actually. Those are some big doors, man. How's it going, Tony? Eric says I'm doing a 30 by 18. What? Low headroom. Oh my gosh, dude, the track on that. Oh my gosh, I've done a 16-foot with low headroom, and I mean that was like, like I call it like you needed 2 men and a midget, you know what I mean, to haul that thing around. And I could imagine 18. Tanner says I can send you some of the best sweet corn you ever eat. Oh, Tony says shoot me at your address sometime. That's awesome. Tony says autocorrect. Oh, nice. He says 30 low headroom sounds dumb. Probably runs like hell. Yeah, I don't know. What do you think? Is Eric? Let's see. I've done how'd that door run, Eric? I agree. That does seem kind of like, ooh, like I'm sure it's not desired, but there's probably a reason. I can't tell you. I mean, it's just like mind-boggling. How many places, especially when I was working for the Amish pretty big, and I don't know. I'm going to throw my 2 cents in. I'll tell you a couple stories on it. The Amish, man, the reason we ever got hooked up with them is they were actually building next door to my neighbors. Well, he wasn't always there. He'd lock the door or lock the building up. They were doing an addition on it. So the one guy that was running it, he'd come over and he'd use the phone, right? And he'd just come in here, man. He kind of like owned the place, right? He'd sit back in the chair and he's just like sitting on the phone, blah, blah, and he talk his, I forget what they talk. They talk like French or whatever. But anyways, be on the phone and he's like, he's almost dragging us out because there's air conditioning in here. And he's just like, man, this feels nice in here. Real cool dude, though. Really cool dude. Real nice, polite, everything, real cool dude. And so we just started, kind of like talking. And plus, my neighbor wanted us to do his garage doors because why not, right? He says, that way, if they break, he says, there's no reason. You're right next door, and he wanted nice full view glass doors. Yep, got it, understand. But anyways, with the Amish, one time they told me, right? And the thing is, I could only get a hold of them at nighttime, like 5, sometimes 6, sometimes 7, sometimes 8, but not really 9, 10, anytime after that. And it was weird because I went up there one time to drop some stuff off one time. They literally had a generator running out in the middle of the driveway that ran the telephone. So you only had a window to catch them. So during the day, you were pretty much screwed. So I'd get the address or something. There's always something that I'd forget, right? So I was going behind them, especially if it wasn't too far away. I'd swing over to the place and I'd talk to the person or something. Or I'd be like, oh, there ain't even a freaking building here. Or they just got the poles in, but the roof's not on yet. And I can't tell you how many times I just come across unique situations where I would see a motorhome sitting there or something, right? A piece of equipment or something. And I go, oh, and I already knew what was to be ordered, right? But I'm just there to verify everything's going to fit. And I'm like, what are you guys doing with that? They're like, oh, well, that's actually, that's why we're getting the garage built. And I'm like, how tall is that? Oh, it's, 12'3". And the garage door is 12 foot. Like, we think we're going to probably lower the air in the tires. Holy shit. Blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? And then something would awry from it. You know what I mean? Like the builder, or not the builder, but the Amish or whoever, even the builders, right, would change something up. oh, hey man, can we make it 13, or something, blah, blah, blah. And, last minute trying to, and it's like, we only got, 8 inches of headroom, if you would have just built the building another foot taller, it would just saved. I mean, because that's the thing, right? The one thing with garage doors is you're always interacting with them. You know what I mean? You're trying to fit a vehicle in there. You're trying to fit a motorhome. You're pushing the button. It's a moving object. It's like, you don't understand. If you would just, if you would have gave me the headroom to put standard, everything will roll better, everything will last better, everything will last longer. There's no funky goofiness, you know. Send you some dinner. Says 30 low headroom, probably runs. Dutch German. Thank you, Rich, for that. Dutch German. That's a good thing to remember. Dutch German. Love it. Oh, wow. So it was a dual trolley. He had to have the tallest door he could have combine. I knew it. I already knew. I was probably thinking it's probably farm or something. It's ag. It's like, got to have it. You know what I mean? And they're probably, probably had sliding doors or something at one time. Who knows? Or they didn't want to build another foot because the building's so big, because you span that across the whole building, right? That extra foot, steel, lumber, or whatever. It's low headroom can work. It says it works as good as low headroom can work. I get that. Totally get that. It says it's not. I have done them big low headrooms, and I never fun. And yes, double tracks. It's just dumb heavy. Yes, Midland back in the day. They would weld it with another L channel. Wow, that is crazy. That's heavy, man. That's like a 2 scissor lift, 4 guys type of like what you'd like to have for some muscle. That is heavy. Eric says, I hate low headroom. He said, I always try to get them to shorten the door. They just don't work good. Yeah, I agree. You know what I mean? I'm kind of the same way if you can, but it just, how it is. Like, there's just that combination you get into, and sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. They got to fit something in there. They don't, if they build it down, it's like you can almost lose the job, especially if it's kind of like residential, because now you got to tell them like, well, here's the thing. We got to, you got to get a builder in here. I'm not a builder, I don't really want to deal with the siding, and they just kind of like, nah. And then the problem is if you get somebody else that comes in and goes, we can just put a low headroom in here. Like, no problem, Oh, can you do that? Well, how much? It's probably just, a couple $100 more. They're like, oh yeah, let's do that. And they have no idea what they're getting into. It's 13 hands tall. What the heck? I like walking it out. Be brothers. Well, see, this thing is like, I didn't know, like with the Amish, I didn't realize like, what is it? There's the Millers. There's another one, Yodelers. I think Yoders, something like that. That's very, very common across the board. I think that's how they keep the mafia going. You know what I mean? So like, you don't know, because I was like, see these guys or something like, oh, I'm like, hey, do you know these guys? First name Miller, and they're like, hey, bud, everyone's their last name is Miller. There's hundreds of them, and I'm like, oh, duh. And then it was funny because when I'd start hearing them, I go to somebody and be like, oh, the Amish, like, oh, okay, what was theirs? Something, Yodeler or Miller. And I'm like, imagine that. Duh. But man, most of them, man, they work, man. I was impressed. I ain't gonna lie, like, I was impressed. Got another text I was reading. Got a couple. I think one was from Tony, and I gotta put the names in. And man, those guys when they were next door, I mean, they take very minimum breaks, and the lunch pails. I mean, it was like for I don't know what they had there, like 7 guys. It was like double. It was like 14 plus coolers, right? It was really impressive. I mean, I just liked it. It was like, it just made me remind me of kind of like probably what America was back like in maybe like the 50s and stuff like that. You know, like just hard labor, man. Let's get this job done. Let's work as a team. And they all just knew their position, man. I was like watching ants. I mean, they were just like, you're just like, wow. I mean, they were just boom, 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 nailing this, that, running this, doing that. Really amazing. I was really impressed. So, but when it came to the garage doors, I had one down in I think we were in Ohio, and of course you know how it is. I'm on vacation, you know, like basically in like flip flops, right? You know, vacation, and of course you know a family member's like, you know, oh hey, you work on garage doors? And I'm like, no, I don't, no, I don't, nope, that's not me. You got the wrong person. Well, can you take a look at something for us? Sure. I had to go into this. I remember it was like basically like a pig barn almost, but I think they had goats in there. Everything dirt floor. I mean, everything's covered in dust. You know, it's been there for years, right? And I start looking at it. I mean, this door is running like crap, and I'm like, "You guys got any oil?" Oh yeah, you know, go get some WD, whatever. I'm like, anything, man. Spit on it. I don't care. This thing is just it needs some oil. And we run in, and I keep going, what is going on with this thing, man? I can't figure out what's going on. I keep seeing the springs jumble up, you know, blah, 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 blah. They're doing the weird coil thing. And I'm like, I sprayed them with oil. I'm like, and I think it was when I got up there and sprayed them with oil. I'm like up there coating them in. These springs are something's goofy, man. Move it up and down. I mean, it was like, it needed like 2 or 3 people to move it. It was just, I started watching that spring, and all of a sudden I realized, son of a gun, man, the springs are on backwards. So now it's like, whoa, don't be running this by my face. You know what I mean? This thing's ready to detonate, you know. I don't even know how I made it this long. So, of course, do you think we got like winding bars? No. But we got rebar. We had to grind down rebar. I made it work. Shorts and flip flops and rebar. I might as well got a screwdriver. I might as well just got a screwdriver about the size of this and stuck it in there. I can do this. I'm a resi. I'm a homeowner. I can do this. There's nothing dangerous here. So I had to tear all the springs apart. I don't have no gloves. I mean, my hands are just destroyed. There's no water. I mean, think of this thing as like this building is like up on a hill, like a quarter mile away from the house. You know, that's where we're at. You know, like rode a quad to get to it. You know, I'm just like, I'm on vacation. Next time we're going somewhere nobody knows where we're at. Tony says, wow, easy on Millie. I'm not Amish. They sound like the Amish down here. They must be brothers. Nice one, Rich. Oh, man. Eric says, the weirdest door I've ever messed with was a 26 by 18 Safeway with high lift. It had a third drum in the center? Really? Okay, so it must have been probably, I'm assuming exterior in the center. It was on its own shaft above the main shaft line. Whoa. See, that kind of reminds me, I remember the weirdest, right off the top of my head anyways, I'm sure there's been something else, but I always remember I worked on one, I think it was an overhead. It was at a slope dock, I remember, and the opener's in the center of the garage door. What a horrible spot. The jack shaft opener's in the center. And I remember that it like threw the cables or something, and we were just fighting that thing like to get it down. And I'm like, who puts the opener in the middle? You know, it was a bigger door. It wasn't that big, that's for sure. Says a lot of girls named Rachel. The operator was mounted in the center. And so adjusting limits was annoying. Yep. I remember that. I do remember that with the opener being in the center. It seemed like we had to like wait, get the door up or something. I forget. I have to manually run it. I don't remember how to do it. I was very green at that time. This is how, yeah, it says they moved bars with their hands. I've seen that video. That's impressive. That's impressive. That's impressive. I ain't gonna lie. Yes, they put that second set of springs above with other set of drums and cables to distribute the weight in the middle. He says cables come down the header and then the face of it. Okay, that's kind of what I figured. Door and outside we have them 36-foot cables. Clope. Wow. Wow. I'll have to come see this sometime. You get a big one, Tanner. You let me know. I'll come out there because I want to see one of the big boys. Never got much into eggs. There's a guy that does it I know around here. And he's actually a friend. We don't talk much, but he's a friend. He's a good dude. And that's all he does is like all farm. I mean, every time I'm always like, "Hey, we install that one in the dirt." I'm like, I'm a big like anti-dirt person. I just can't stand the dirt. And I get that if they're not putting concrete in there, I get it. But I've done so many over the years that it's like, you know, we want to get this in because we want to heat it, whatever, blah, blah. We want to secure it because we're getting plumbing or something. And I'm like, I get on a big door like that. How are you going to frame that? Like, I can imagine on those super big doors. But when it's like a 12 by 12 or something, I'm like, put some sheeting up. It's fine. You know? Door outside. Yep. He says, I have wound springs with the rollers. With the rollers. I can't. Maybe I've done a residential. I think I've done a residential. But this one, unfortunately, I didn't mention it. It was probably like, it was like a 12. It could have been like a 12 by 12. It was something like that, or 12 by 14 or 14 by 12. So it had, it had a little more meat to it, you know what I mean? And it was like, you know how it is? Like, you guys know this because you're garage door people. But when you start like sweating and you got the pressure of like, it's like having like little yippy dogs, like little chihuahuas, at the bottom. They're like, yip, 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 yip. Hey, is there anything I can do? Is there anything I do? Can I help? Can I help? And I'm just like, shut up. Give me a minute. I'm on this sketchy ass wood ladder that you gave me that the runs are like 2 feet, or 3 feet apart. And it's sitting here and it's cracking as I'm on it. And I'm like, and the ground's not level, and you're like, just sweat's coming down you. And you're just like, I'm not wearing the right clothes. I'm not, what do I do? This kind of reminds me when I was at the fire barn. I had like 5 guys at my mercy. They're like, anything we can do? And I'm like, shut up. Just shut up. I'm like, shh. I'm like, this is very dangerous. We're hunting for rabbits. Shh. Like, let me think, Says, I hate those center openers. Never did understand the logic of the engineering that came up with them trying to set up open limbs. I know, man. That was, I don't know. Maybe they figured the torque at the time because they just didn't figure out, hey, you can go through the whole shaft system. I don't know. I agree. It's, maybe that was their first direct drive type setup. Because I'm sure it was an overhead door that had it too. It says, sounds like a mess. Says, yes, guys. Says, I've used rollers to box truck springs. To do box, the box trucks. Oh yeah. We actually don't even do, we don't do box trucks anymore. We used to. We had a guy down the road that would send them down here, and it just got to be like, for some reason, it seemed like it was the box trucks, and I get it, but it was like they didn't understand that we couldn't just drop what we're doing. And it seemed like every time we tangled with one, it always felt like it always needed more than just a spring, or the cable's thrown off, and the rollers are all crappy, and it needs 2 bottom sections because it's rotted, and to get them to park it where we needed it to, and then to try to get somebody, you need, in my opinion, when it came to it, you really need 2 guys. You need somebody on the outside to throw you, slide you parts. They just weren't a good fit. You know what I mean? We just normally don't have 2 guys here. At the end of the day, we could make something happen, but it just seemed like it never worked for their scheduling. They were always like, well, can you get it done today? And it's like, no, like you really need to leave it here for a day or 2. And then by the time we do something, the worst part was, it was the callback. You know what I mean? Because it seems like we could fix it, but it was like you never really knew what caused the problem. Was it the truck shifting because it's looking pretty weak? a couple of welds in the corner broke. Is it because they hit something? Is it because they got caught on something? It just seemed like, I think we had one newer, nicer truck out of it, and that wasn't too bad. But the springs, oh man, I don't know. They're just pain. But those truck ones are a bugger. I think there's a special, I think we actually had one of the guys that worked here. I don't even know what happened to those bars. His dad worked at a machine shop, so we had him mill down the bar to fit those, because they take a special size, I think, if I remember right, for the box trucks. And it's nice if you have shorter ones. So we had a special set just sitting here at the shop. And I think somebody needed a set of winding bars. So they took them, and they still fit because they're just under. It's like just under a smudge under what the standard bars are, if I remember correctly. Dun-dun-dun. Yes, guy. I've used. Yeah. So sorry. Use 3/8 socket extension in a pinch. Oh, 3/8 socket extension. Dang. Yeah, you do whatever you got to do. I mean, I don't know. I think that's probably about the most creative, the 3/8 socket extension. You know, cut that puppy off if you got to. I mean, not if it's like a Stanley or something expensive. I mean, you can still stick it in there. It's sketchy. It's just nice, but you know how it is. Like I knew when I was doing that one, I was like, I can't. We're so far away from the city too, and I thought, like there, you know how it is. You don't go into Ace Hardware or Lowe's or anybody. I don't even think there's anybody. Has anybody ever seen like a hardware store sell the winding bars? I mean, you think even like, let's say like, does Menards? Menards seems like they'd be one, but I don't know if I've ever seen them there. But anyways, I was just thinking like, I've never been anywhere where I've like seen garage door springs and I'm like, oh, sweet. They sell winding bars for 12, 20, 40 bucks. Sweet. So it was like, we got the rebar, get the grinder out, you know, grinder down. So the rebar and a pinch even had to shave it down with a grinder. That's what I did. That's what I did. I should ask too, since we're kind of on this subject. I'm just curious. I got like a little pull for you. I should have done a pull. Is what's your preference? You know, the hexagon one that looks like a stop sign, right? Bars, or do you like the round bars? I personally like the hexagon ones because I like that they don't roll. Because I've had it where they've rolled off before and hit the ground and almost shot and hit a car. Luckily, I never hit a car. I had one come out before. I don't think it was round, but I remember when it hit the ground, it went flying back because that was that ideal spring. Is it Easy Torque? I'm trying to think what the heck it's called. What's Menards? Anyways, it blew up on me. I've told that story before. This is box trucks are easy once you get to get used to them or get used to it. We make them. Leave it with us. Nice. Yeah, like I said, you know, they weren't really too bad. It was just a different niche. I noticed for the guys, it was hard for them to transfer. And you got to have, it's nice if you got a little bit of inventory. It seemed like the springs were different. Rollers are different. You know, the hinges. So, and the thing is, you can get all that stuff from Service Spring because I think there's only 2 manufacturers for those back doors. It was like white, and there was like another one, if I remember correctly. And, you know, let me take a look skis here. See if even the old, which one's this one? I guess it's assuming obviously 23. Service Spring, man. They've done such a good job. I'm kind of glad too. I guess they do have prices kind of. I'm glad they went to that, the QR code stuff. I like that. I think we're getting closer. I think what they need to do is, like I said, they need to have it so you take pictures and then it puts an inventory. You have to submit it. Dang, they still do the orders in the book. I wonder who does that. That'd be kind of cool. Submit that in. Somebody be like, what the? There they are. Bada bing. Bada bing, bada boom. T-style. Does it say, though, what these are? Like that's white. Or who is this brand manufacturers? Truck trailers. Maybe it's just white. I don't remember. But look at their little baby roller. Look at the baby roller. Isn't it cute? It's so cute. Aw, and you gotta have the little hinges. Yeah, it's gotta have little hinges, guys. Don't forget your locks. That was always problematic. Sometimes they'd be busted up, whatever. But no, they're not. They're not horrible. Like I said, but it's just hard when you get employees. It's hard to transition that sometimes. And like for us to have to ask them to leave the truck, and then it was like, well, where do we put the keys? And then we've had some issues, especially if I don't know, it just didn't work. Rich says, I don't do truck doors, but I do drop the door trailers. That's kind of weird too, because so another thing on like enclosed trailers and stuff like that, we had problems with those too. It was probably more or less one bad apple kind of ruined it. And it was because we had a customer, it was from our friend down the road, nice people. But they'd send us it, right? And this trailer, I mean, I never seen it was a landscaper. I never seen an enclosed trailer in such bad shape. I mean, the floor was almost gone. They put their right, and the whole back end would just, I mean, you could close the door and just the whole door and everything. And it's like, so we just finally got to the point. We kept getting couples of those, and then we're just like, you know what? We're not doing these no more. And we tried to show them how to do it, and I think they are still doing it because they don't send them down far as I know, and thank goodness, because it was just, I don't mind for like a friend or like a one-off type of thing, but it's just, like I said, it's hot. You got to get in there. You got to get trapped. You just got to kind of know what you're doing. It just, I don't know. It's not bad though. I mean, it's not, I mean, like I said, you make money doing it. It's really weird for me. Like what I've noticed, and I'm assuming, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm assuming that most of you guys don't have, besides like a helper or two, you don't have like employees in a sense. Like, I'm talking like 5 or 7. It's hard to get them to, you know what I mean? It's because it's almost like, this is my job. That's not my job. This is my job, but that's not my job. And I'm not trying to say like in the bad way. It's just, it's hard. Once you start getting, it's like, well, who touched it? Who did this? Who was, you're both on it? Well, who did what? You know what I mean? So it's like, it's a lot nicer like when you can do like, send them out to a job and they were there the 100%. So when there's an issue, you're like, okay, we're seeing a common trend. Or, yeah, I don't know how to explain it. It's just weird. Like I still think about with the secretary when she tells me and she goes, I don't understand why you need that stuff. And I said, because it's not me installing it. I said, I have subs. I said, I have employees. I said, I'm selling this to the general public. I said, I need a package deal. I need side locks. I need rope. I need a foot plate. I need, I want this all packaged so they have all the exhaust, all their options. So I don't have somebody calling me going, I need a side lock. My old one had a side lock. I don't want those phone calls. I don't want to hear it. I do truck doors, but drop trailers, Rob. Whatever I see in the center mounted operator is normally because there is no slide room. Ooh, and high lift. He might be on, Rob. You might be onto something with that because it might have been beams. But I've seen overhead around here. I've seen other companies too, I guess, in a sense. They blow holes right in the red steel. They'll run a shaft right through it. So, I don't know. Maybe they just, Tanner says, we tore out a truck sectional door a few years ago. And I ordered a roll-up door and built down and wrapped the header. I installed a coil door and put push brush seal, on it. It was a fun project. Nice. Nard sells resi bars. I knew it. I knew it. Those Menards boys. See, they got Menards is pretty good. They're always like real crafty with that kind of stuff. You know, that little niche stuff, like screws and stuff. I kind of like them. They got all kinds of variety of screws, like stainless to deck screws. I don't know. You know, but a lot of stuff there too is kind of cheap. You know, I don't know if I want to get my faucet and everything else from there. You know, maybe I don't know, hot water tank stuff. You know, openers. No, I don't know. Says, but you need to be safe and just use. Next time I go on vacation, I'll make sure to bring my Surewinder. Oh, darn it. I wanted to ask you guys. There is another company. Oh, it's Spring. Is it Spring Turner? And here's the thing. I'd like to, somebody, if anybody knows anything about it, I was going to call them. I didn't get a chance today. I was going to call them. But what I like is from what it looks like, it's a whole kit. I think it's called Spring Turner. And I seen it a while back. This was quite a while back. The 80, I can't even think of it. The ADA show. What am I trying to say? IDA show? IDA show. Anyways, what I like those as a kit, and it looks like everything could be done, residential, commercial, without buying the brute winder, right? And it was all done with a 3/8, just a standard DeWalt. And I wanted to call them and ask them some more details on it. Because I thought, wow, you know, like if we get the brute winder, we got to go with a bigger drill, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. So I thought, hey, this is all done by 3/8. Maybe this is kind of a oddball company that maybe they got it geared correctly. Maybe it's not really working that good. Maybe it does. I don't know. I thought, well, maybe I'll give them a shot. Try it out. See if that way, if you have one all encompass. So I didn't know if you guys had any intel on that. I already know the Surewinder works. I already know the brute winder works. Well, I don't personally, but I've seen it. You guys have sent it. They're great. Menards has them. Menards has them. Ace Hardware sells torsion springs. Really? For $90? And bars for 20. Shoot, I'm gonna start buying them from there. They're probably cheaper than Service Spring with shipping. It says Eric says I've never used a roller to wind a spring. He says LOL. He says I know a guy who got his finger wrapped, opened, ripped. His finger ripped open because it slipped out. Yep, set screw caught it. Ooh, doggies. Ooh, doggies, man, that's hardcore. Let's see here. Reside to stock. Right beside the stock springs, I think $19 or something. Nice. Tightened them last year. Light as a feather. Titanium? Whoa. I didn't even know they had titanium. Dang. Hexagons for resi. And round for commercial. Oh, round for commercial. See, I still go with a hex for I go for hex for everything because I always set them on the strut. Not that you should, but where I set them up in the trough. And I hate that they roll. It drives me nuts. They roll around in that red steel, the header. You know what I mean? And I'm always like digging for it because in my years, I've left a lot of tools. And it's always fun when you go back and your business partner or yourself did it. And you're like, you're doing something like, hey, there's a ratchet wrench in here. Oh, it's 3/8, 7/16. What the? That's mine now. Oh, it's even got my business partner was always orange. He had orange tape. So he always wrapped it around everything. So I'd always see like orange tape. I'm like, psh. Obviously, he left his ratchet wrench up here. Says I use 3/8 round cold rolled bars, 18-inch long. I have to get a Surewinder. Yep. I think Tony's on to something with the Surewinder. I love it. I use the Hex Resis commercial. Yep, that's me. I like them both. You know, I just don't like them rolling. I don't know what the point is. I don't know if it's easier. I guess easier in hand. But I wear gloves. I'm a baby. I know I'm a tanner. I got 3. He says I got 3. Love it. If anyone has installed a rock and roll, he says this one's my wife's band. Nice. Interested in rock and roll. Awesome. I like some rock and roll. Safety first. I just wear a helmet when I wind them both safe. What's Rich got there? Sky, your wife's playing in a band. That's awesome. Sky, you should send it to me. Send it to me, because the thing is, I feel like once we get off the live, it won't stay in the comments. It's always after the video. Because at least as far as I know, unless there's a setting I can do, which I don't know how, to keep all the comments, it'd be great for the video. But I don't know how. It's just after the video post. It seems like those comments stay. As far as I know. It says they asked me to do commercial residential rolling steel. Excuse me. Mini warehouse, high speed frame, installs truck, trailer, gates. It's a whole list of things. Man, that's crazy. It's not bad. You know what I mean? To be multitask. You know, it's one of those things, we were always really heavily multitask, but then it was like, at least for this business here, you know, it started turning out to be like, it's kind of like when we were doing dock plates and stuff like that. It was just like, this ain't fitting. You know what I mean? Like we're having to like retool, you know, or we have to have different stuff on our trucks, or we need bigger trucks, way bigger trucks to haul all this metal around. Or, you know, we got to haul welders now and stuff. So it's kind of like we narrowed it down to find the niche, right? It's like, okay, the resis, we got the commercial, we got the gates, we got semi-fence. You know, that's kind of our wheelhouse, you know. Sliding doors, no. Man doors, no. Commercial, we did these doors too for a lot of our commercial customers, these doors. I did a couple with the wife even. I mean, I struggled with these things. I mean, especially when they fill that casing, I got the trim right here up. When that casing though is full, when they built the brand new building, it's full of concrete, and you got to knock all that crap out without busting the brick and all that stuff. Oh my gosh, is it tedious? You know, and it was like, it seemed like you'd bid it, and it was like, you know, because these doors, I mean, I heard a guy who was getting them out of Chicago for like dirt cheap, but I mean, these doors are like about $2,000 a pop. At least from our vendors around here, 1,200, $2,000 a pop. These what is it? These handles here. These are like, back when I was buying them, they were like $300. I mean, 300 some change. And I was like, why are these? And he's like, you're not paying really. That's all Ben is. You're paying for the engineering. I'm like, it's engineering. He's like, oh, they have to be tested. They have to be for fire. You know. And I'm just like, whew, you know. I'm like, dude, it's expensive. And it was just hard, you know. We were going through. I mean, you need drill bits, you need concrete stuff, you need tappers for the floor, you know, going into concrete. I mean, so now you need a good hammer drill. There's a ton of things that add up. I've got one, stay small, keep it all. Got one, stay small. That's right. That's right. I'll never forget that, man. I'll never forget that. Keep it small, keep it all. What was that? I was trying to think of, there was another one I just heard not too long ago. That was good though. Says Tanya says, but you're not wrong. We are about to order our last 15, 16 by 7 doors for a development. And I'm going to order the Surewinder. Heck yeah. When I order those, I have 2 brute winders, one for 3-inch and one for 6-inch. Oh, springs, but I do much more commercial than residential. Heck yeah. What is that, Rich? Is a German com? What's that? Brute winder, big drill, and speed 1 setting. See, that's why I was trying to see if this spring turner, I think it's spring turner. I seen the kit. And I wanted to call them and ask because, you know, of course, I tried to look it up on YouTube, and it was pathetic for videos on it. And they were showing like residential, and they were showing how the things go in. And they were showing like a 3/8, and I was like, and I think they did a bigger door, but the problem was they didn't wind it up like full tension. They went like 3 or 4 turns. And that was, I only watched about 3 or 4 videos. There was a few more, but they looked like they were kind of repeats of the same. But I was just like, oh, I was like, dude, I want to see him like wind that puppy up, man. Put like 12 turns on that big old 6-inch spring. I want to see what the drill does if he's sitting there and starts smoking, or if he's like, give me another battery. We're on the third one, but we're getting her done. And so that was the only thing. And I just thought, gosh, it'd be so much easier if we could just do 3/8. And I know we're going to burn up batteries, but I just thought it's lighter. We already have them on the truck. If we got to buy a couple bigger batteries instead of having a big, because which one was it? Was it Tony or Tanner? Somebody sent me their drill that they're using, and I'm thinking like, oh man, like if we got to drape a cord, or even got to buy one that's got 2 batteries in it, we got to buy a whole nother drill, setup. So that's that, and then it's, how much is that? $600, $800, $1,200 for the drill. So it's like, and then it's just the way things go, it'll be one drop out of the lift. Smashed. you know. So that's the only thing. If there was one that can do it all, it'd be pretty cool. But my hopes might be up too high. What's he got? You guys ever use those track anvils? I've never used the track. I've seen one before. We had one that was kind of made. I'd like one. Who sells the track anvils? Is it Silver Spring sell them? Because I can't say for sure I've ever seen one in their book. At least if we're talking about the same one. Rich just looked one of those Ace Winder residential. They have 2 models. Says just looked at one of the Ace Winder. See, I never heard of that one. Ace Winder residential. They have 2 models. Interesting. Okay, so they're just as much. I feel like I called on that. This was quite a while ago before we had the salesman of Tony here, and I feel like that spring turn I thought was 12. I'll call tomorrow and find out, because I called them, and of course, unfortunately, they didn't answer. I didn't leave a voicemail. I was like, I'm not up for that. And plus, I was just kind of hoping. I was like, maybe they're just busy this one time, so maybe I'll call back. Less spring turners out there. Spring turner, call me. Email me. Surewinder can do it too. I don't care. We know Tony's on here because he's going to give me a really good discount. I think he said he's going to sell me one for $200, the residential. I give him $300 for the commercial. Thanks, Tony. You're a guy. Tanner, I hope that's a full face helmet. This is damn autocorrect. Oh, I love it. He says, no, he says, I don't use the anvils. Vice grip, my customers, wine bar, commercial winding bar, just inside the track. That's not a bad idea. Huh. Never thought about the winding bar. I like that. My hammer to fix it. Works for me for years. That's not a bad idea. I never used a winding bar. I've done a lot of it with I call them big blues, the big channel locks. I carry big channel locks, so if you got to twist a track around, or they just come in handy for so many things. Those big channel locks, I can squeeze. I've the vice grips. I've done that, but I've never done the winding bar. That's not a bad idea. Maybe that's a good reason why you should have round ones, right? To fix a bad drive for years. Tony says, yeah, I'm with Tanner, vice grips, and a hammer. The hammer I've beaten a lot around too. You know what I mean? The hammer, you get the knife, whack, whack, man, you just get going on it. You just sit there and form it like a blacksmith, So I never tried it. I did have one though. I really wish it was mangled pretty bad. And man, I was like, I don't got time to go back and get track. And it was a weird situation. I don't remember what it was. And I thought, man, I wish I had that anvil, because I just kept thinking, oh man, this is really messed up. I forget. It's like, how it is. If it gets the center pushed in or something, it's just, I can't remember, but it was really a bear. And I thought, I'd love to have the option at least, I tried one we had built a long time ago, and it was you slide it in, and I don't know, it just didn't seem like it worked that good. It was you're always fighting it. I don't know. This is heavy and unnecessary. Come on, Dave. It's only money. What about your shoulders? Yes, I agree, Tony. I got to do something. The money's already aside for it. It's going to be deployed. It's one way or another. You know, sometimes, they used to say, Dodge is different. And sometimes I just like to be a little different. So I don't know. I don't know. I might, like I said, if the spring turner, if they can prove to me, they say, yes, you can use it with just a regular cordless, 3/8 drive, whatever, drill. We do it does residential. I just like that was a kit and everything was in there. And like I said, if once we get done here, you should check it out. You guys, you certain guys, you can always text me or whatever too, and just say, hey, you're right, it does this, or I found this, or anything. I just like the fact that I was thinking, oh, hopefully it's gear driven enough that it's like it could just do everything. And I was green back then when I seen it, more green, and I would have asked a lot more questions, or I've been like, let me handle that thing, let me play with it when I was there, when I seen the guy. And it was just fortunate I still had the brochure and the business card on there, and it's been sitting, it's been sitting there just on my desk, and I'm like, can I do this? Can I do everything with a 3/8? Because that'd be awesome, at least for us. It'd be just so much more useful. Um, but of course, what's it gonna last? All that stuff. Is it gears gonna grind out of it? I'm just happy it's been years ago, and they're still at least they still sounds like they're open and everything. Never tried it. Says doctors. Yes, I've never tried the anvil. Thinking about it. Heavy and unnecessary. Come on, Dave. Tony says yes. Has several projects on Spotify. Yes, she has several projects on Spotify. She rocks. Nice. Nice. That's awesome. That's cool, Sky. I play the bass. I always wanted to play the bass. They wouldn't let me. I had to play the viola. So I was too big for violin or something like that. And now I was like, put me on bass. Oh no, you'll be good viola. I don't want to do viola. Tanner says, no, sir, I can almost do 4. Wait, it dropped here. Where'd it go? 4 6-inch springs at 12 turns with one 6-amp 20-60-volt battery. Nice. Slap of the bass. Yeah, slap. That's always, yeah. Sky do too. Says Amazon. Eric says Amazon and Daveadubson, Canada. I think about Service Spring. It is weird to think about how much. I was just looking. I should bring this up because maybe somebody knows of one and maybe not. But this actually floored me. So obviously, one of the challenges for the young guys, that don't have vehicles, and even for myself, I mean, like I'm running around trying to experience it like the newbies, to try to inspire the younger generation, and hey, you can do it. You don't need. And the biggest thing I've noticed always was the big one for me, anyways, was struts, 2-inch struts, 3-inch struts. So I did a little investigating, and I thought, I'm just gonna wing it. I'm gonna throw it out there just to see. And I tell you what, I looked Amazon. They got one that I think realistically it's the same strut. They just cut it and they make 2 chunks out of it for, like, let's say a 16-foot garage door wide. And holy camole, I mean, they wanted, like, I forget what it was, 113, 130, 160. I can't remember. The number was like, it was like whatever it was. It could have been 300. I cannot remember off the top of my head, but I was like, God dang, man. And they send you a handful of screws, and they would show a door that was sagging and stuff. And I thought, why hasn't anybody came out with one that's a sleeve? It's a roll form, right? But have one that just slides so it's adjustable. And I'm like, it's not like, I don't see it being that hard to manufacture if you already have a roll form in a sense. You know what I mean? Like it could slip into itself. You could adjust it for a 12-foot. It could kind of slip out. Maybe I'm overlooking something. And then, has anybody ever pieced in a strut? I don't think I've ever pieced in a strut. I've pieced in angle, and I've made angle work in a pinch. Um, but yeah, I was just thinking about that strut, and I thought, and then like the torsion tubes, it'd be nice to have your guys' opinion on this because, or if you got a video or you got a secret sauce or something on YouTube there, because torsion tubes, you can, we know the Menard setup, right? We know the one that, it's in the center. You put two torsion springs in there, or torsion tubes, and you put the screws in, right? And then you got the little plastic bracket that holds the center, cradles it, and then your springs are on the end though. And I'm like, I don't know how you could do. Now here's the thing. I can't remember how I did it right off the top of my head, but I did it. I buried it inside of a spring. I guess it's probably not that hard. It wasn't really the best thing. I wasn't real proud of it. Don't tell anybody. But I buried it inside the spring, right? So there was actually, because it was just all I had or all I could get from the store or something. I don't know. I was too far away. It was one of those jobs that, man, I was too far. I was like 2 hours away from the shop. I'm like, I'll be darned if I drive back, And I buried that thing inside because how do you support it? You know what I mean? Like, unless you put the springs, but if you got drums, so what do? But you know what I'm trying to explain here too is you got to remember, typically with a garage door, right? The meat, normally the pad, right? The wood is in the center. So you can't, if you're building new construction, sure, you could put 2 spring pads, in a perfect world. But I was trying to think, I was like, gosh, that's always the biggest struggle is torsion tube and struts for the newbies. You know what I mean? Like to haul them. They've always been a problem for me, even just, not really now because we got trucks, but I mean, you know what I mean? Like when I was starting out kind of stuff, it was always like they sucked, to haul around. And I thought, I cannot believe we haven't just, I haven't seen something better where I go, that's the ticket, baby. Because I'm like, if we could mount the springs to the outside, great. We could use the center support. It's not the greatest thing, but it gets the job done. But I don't know how. I just have not seen it. So I need your help. If you see something, email me, text me, whatever. I need help on it. I return, he gets them half off. Heck yeah, Tanner. Darn right. He gets them half off. Oh, Rich has got the thing on here. I don't know what's going to happen if I click on this. I'm scared. I don't know what it does. I don't know if it's going to boot you guys off. I'm worried it's going to boot you guys off. Dude. I just seen that Tanner about the doctor. That's too funny. Grip round bar, how I do it currently. Nice. Round bar. I've seen people put bike grips on their whiny bars. Ooh. That's pretty cool. I've always wondered, if somebody's kind of jazzed them up a little bit. Oops. The spring turner looks like I'd be heavy and awkward. I don't think it. I think, like I said, it's got to be a lot better than using those things. What's here, guy says I looked. Yes, I've looked it up. Looks like you need a dually to haul that thing around. Oh, Sky, they rock. Nice. What's up, It's Rich got on here. I've done that too, Dave. Put the joint inside the spring. Okay, cool. I'm so glad. I'm glad you said that, Rich, because I remember I did it and I thought, oh, the poor, I kept, I was thinking, I was like, the poor bastard after me. I thought, he's going to not like that. I know I wouldn't. What's going on with this thing? What? Because I've had it happen, right? Where I had it like, it was working like a center coupler. And I mean, I was sitting there just staring at it. And I'm like, how in the heck is this thing like one side's lifting and this side's catching up? What the heck is going on? And I remember I tore it apart and I was just like, who in the bleepy beep did this? Why would you do this? And then here I'm the guy like, burying it inside the spring. Oh, the poor next guy. I hope it's not me. Kind of hope it is, because I'll know what's going on right away. But uh, but I seem like I remember. I think you could put a bearing. It depends on the size of the spring. It felt like it was a very tight calculation when I did it. It's weird. I can't remember. It's one of those things when you're in the heat of the moment. It's kind of like a fireman. You know what I mean? You're just like, I don't know where the strength came from, but I got it. So you're just doing all this stuff. But if that's the way it's got to be, that's the way it's got to be. I might do a demonstration on it, show the newbies. But I just thought, man, it'd be nice if you could either bump them off. I thought you can't with the drums, as far as I know. And I thought, well, maybe there's a bracket. I don't think so. I've never seen one. And I thought, well, maybe do two of them, right? And they're out the outside of the springs, So you have one on, if you got dual springs, got one outside. Seems kind of janky because it's two pivot points. Since I've done it, it works. Okay, little measure. It was a 207 or 218 to hide this, enough to hide it in the spring. I felt so bad doing it. I did. I was like, this is so wrong, but I have to. This is all I got. Let me throw this out there. Yeah, you guys ever use a piece of conduit? I did it. Didn't work the best. It worked. I ain't gonna say it worked. Never got a call back. But the job was so far away. It was one of those 6 o'clock on a Friday. The lady's like, I really need somebody. I really need help. I got, whatever the circumstance was. She's leaving. She's going out. I don't remember. It was just like a code red emergency. I was like the eighth person she called. I answered the phone and I'm like, it was like one of those jobs too, that when I took it, I was like, this is a job I don't want to do. I was like, this is going to be a price that if you accept this, I might consider coming up. So I told her whatever, it was like $600. I don't remember. Okay, whatever. Okay, I like that. Oh, whatever, fine. So I didn't have nothing really scheduled. So I thought, well, I don't got nothing on a Friday night. So I'll head up there. I get up there, and for some reason, the truck, I don't remember why. I think I was either driving a different vehicle. Didn't have a long enough torsion tube, man. Her torsion tube was shot. And I come to find out, I didn't know they did this, but Lowe's and Home Depot, they make I think they're called like short stores or small stores or something. Anyways, I go into these buildings and I'm like, dude, I'm like looking for something, right? So they got nothing for garage door parts. Now I'm like off to conduit. I'm like, I gotta find something, electrical conduit, metal, of course. And I'm like, it's gotta be close. It's gotta be close. It's not really that close. And I'm telling the guy, I go, dude, I said, you guys ain't got he goes, oh, we're a short store. And I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, we don't, that's why the ceilings aren't real tall. He says, we don't carry nothing. This is all we got. It's only a 10-foot chunk. I need 16. So I don't know if I was supposed to or not, but there was a skid. I don't know if it was for contractors. I'm sorry if it was. But there was a skid that was wrapped that had long conduit sitting over in the corner, wrapped. And I'm like, those are long enough. I don't know why those are. I don't know what those are even for. So I went, I grabbed a piece. I remember I snuck it out of the bundle. And I'm like, not my problem, whatever, man. I just need this piece, man. I'm like, whatever, 2 hours away from home one way. That's screwed it. I got to get this fixed. I got to get this out of my life. I'm not calling. I can't even call the wife because how's she going to haul it? She don't want to get into one of the work vans either and stuff and haul, it's just going to take so much time. Screw it. Anyways, I installed it. Like I said, it was a little clunky clunk, this and that, but it worked. I can't believe how good it worked, actually. There you go. Had to use conduit. Or if you know anything else better, maybe water pipe, copper. Ooh, fancy. This is nice. I like to see everyone's trucks. Heck yeah. See how everyone does it. Nobody drives trucks around here except for Rich. We all drive vans. We're the minivan gang. Can't say minivans, but there's one guy around here that does. Glitter whiny bars. Oh my gosh. I said the same thing. Oh, love it. Love it. I did a service call one day that kicked my butt for a minute. It was at Menards. Oh boy. Easy set, shaft, set up the rest, and door twice. I couldn't figure out why the door was, oh, yep, not staying straight. I'm so glad you brought that up, Tanner. That's it, man. It's like what's going on here? I mean, I get it on commercial doors. I know what to look for. Oh, keyway fell out. Keyway's getting hogged. Center coupler's loose. You know, I know what to all look for on commercial stuff. But when it comes to that residential, I'm like, that's not possible. And I went up there before, and I've like set screws in deeper on the drums. You know, I'm like, I'll bury these mothers in there. Yeah, I got this. I'll put a hole in this shaft. I don't care. You know, something's moving. And then it's like you start, and you're like, I mean, I've literally, like, I think I've put like lines, take permanent marker and put lines on the shafts. And then I'm like, pull the door up and let it, you know, revolution or something. I'm like, what the? Why are those not lined up? What is going on here? How is this even happening? And then you find out somebody buried a center coupler, or, you know, the coupler in the middle of a spring. Oopsies. Going up and going up and find out one of the screws broke off. Yeah. Center connection shaft, but headed still stuck. Wow. Well, that's cool. Okay, so the head was still there, appearing that both screws were still in. Well, for some reason around here, I don't know whoever installs them. Not saying I have never done it, but they put the one screws in, but they never put them behind the back ones. So I've seen a lot of them like come loose. They'll rattle out. And I don't know about you guys, but I use the pointies. I don't use self tappers typically. I'll burn a pointy into it because the pointies just bite so hard. If anything, if I remember right, because I think the shafts are kind of weak, I think I can just burn right through them with a pointy. I just like pointies on a lot of stuff. I like them for putting up doors and just certain things. They bite a lot harder, in my opinion. They don't come loose. Because you use a self tapper, and then by the time it hits, it just, I don't know, it just seems like it hogs it out. So I'm a pointy guy, little short pointy ones, 7/16 with a magnet bit. Just burn that puppy in there, and when she bites, man, she hits hard. This is Tanner. I hate those easy sets when I see them. Hurt them to torsion. I agree. If you can, do it. I did an easy set spring version, bought 16 shafts. The door was 18. Oh, that's a bummer, man. That's a bummer. 16 and it was an 18. Been there. It was all part and found out the little stupid screws was broken off inside. Oh man, that would be such a bummer. That would be such a bummer. Especially to have something physical, like looking at it, and you're like, I don't know what the problem is. Like, I see the screw, it didn't fall out. And then you're like, find out it's sheared, it broke. Not good. Maybe what we need to do is if we install those like that and bury them for the next guy, we need to put a line across everything. You know, take a permanent marker and line it. So we'd be like, why is there a line and the line's not lined up? I think the one guy before me he's trying to warn me here. I'm being warned here. What's he got? What you got? It says it all apart and found out. Yes, the screws. Says I think that's genius. He says I hate those springs mounted to the bearing plates. I know it is. It is goofy. It's for sure. Eric says my only problem with vans is how tall they are and space for big stuff. What are you hauling, Eric? What are you hauling? I have an exit. It says 12, 2 ladders, struts, and have a place to load doors. You got your van all. You got to get the van set up right. You got to do like what we do. We got the big 6-inch tube on top that runs from the front bumper to the rear bumper that hauls all our struts, torsion tubes. I keep an extra piece of weather seal in there just in case you blow one up. 16-footer, in my opinion. If I got to cut it down 7 foot, I don't care. It's just whatever. It's saves me a trip. Angle iron, resi, and commercial. I think that's about it for in there. Doors slide in the back if you got your bins. Um, if you do the really, I mean, who is one of the guys here? We were sending messages back and forth about he's got the 7.3 Godzilla in a cutaway van. Nice setup. Nice setup. Um, those cutaway vans. When I went to a cutaway van, it was might be better than something. I'm not gonna say it, but it was. I mean, it was so roomy in the back. The floor was right. The bumper was. I love the bumper because the bumper would take a full man's boot on it to climb in it. The doors that drop down, the doors that open on the side, the shelves inside. It had so much room. It's such a wonderful vehicle. Such a wonderful. I would just if I had to do it every day, I would absolutely have a cutaway van. Absolutely. Now the only thing I haven't had yet was a dually. I might do a dually for towing. Now the guy that was hauling with the 7.3, yeah, I don't think his was a dually. I don't think his was a dually. He's hauling a lot of weight if it's not a dually. It might be a dually. I didn't get that far with him. I feel like it was Ron. But man, what a nice. And I thought, dang, with the 7.3 Godzilla? Heck yeah. I mean, I've only had, what's Ford's? It's not five, it's a 5.4, right? So I've only had 5.4s. They're both 5.4s. Yeah, both 5.4s. They do all right. They weren't like super non-gutless, but a little more power is always a little nicer. Says the other fun was I went to a service call, some kind of deal. Was to find out the homeowner put the door in. Oh boy, didn't put the spring bearing in. Oh, in or shaft spacer. Ooh, in the spring. Oh, dang. Spring bracket cut. Yep, cut the shafts in half. Yep, that'll happen. It'll cut her. Tony's got 2 trucks, 1 van. Tony, I don't think you ever sent me the one in the van. I've seen the trucks. I don't think I've ever seen the van. Sky says, I'm in a truck. I'm in a pickup truck. The trucks, the only thing I find that are good for the trucks, kind of my opinion, is, the cabs heat up faster, the cabs cool down faster, and noise. That's about all I ever find with a truck. So like when I had to play secretary, I really enjoyed the truck, but for the most part, I always found myself pulling off the side of the road or finding a parking lot or whatever because it's a distraction. And normally I'd have to stop and have to write down stuff, name, address, all this stuff, right? So realistically, I'm always like, for a headset nowadays, I got such good, the semi-truck ones and stuff like that to eliminate sound. You can have that thing boom right there. I even tested the AirPods. I don't know if any of you guys use the AirPods. Those things are crazy to me. Those things are like military, like something's going on. Like I'm always thinking, I'm waiting for them to like make some squeal sound and just paralyze me, or just make me just black out. Cause like they delete the noise and I'm always like, can you like use these as earplugs? Because the way they block the sound, I'll be running heavy equipment and stuff, and I'm sitting here listening to music, just like, this thing's rocking. Like, I can't, it'll block stuff. I can have people talk to me, and I'm like, I can't hear them. I've had a lot of other different earplugs, and I could always hear the background noise, and I'm like, I can't wear these. I have to put like the earmuffs on, like you're cutting grass or something, right? You gotta have the ones that really block the sound and have music in them. But these things, it's creepy the way they work. It's almost like you can just hear it, it goes and it goes quiet. And you're like, and then it'll play whatever you're doing and stuff. But anyways, I was testing one. I was talking to the wife. I was in a kind of a bigger vehicle, and I said, "Hey, is this sound?" And she says, "No, you don't really sound." I even rolled down the window. I was like, "How about now?" With the. She's like, "No, I really don't notice it." And I'm like, like, wow, maybe these will work good. for somebody that has to answer the phone or talk. So I just talked to the whole time. She didn't say there was any problem. Since they like drill them out and put bolts through. Rich is he's a good man. He puts bolts in. Can't say I've done that. I'm not saying that's a great idea though. That's a really good idea. Probably should. I probably would if I was doing it again. Because the screws just, you know. That's right. We need more likes. We're up to 9. Not bad, but more is always better. Vans are better for service, but due to much new install and replacement, to have one. What's it say? Install replacement to have one. Doors. Vans nice service, but to do much new installs and replacement. I don't know, man. I don't know. You know, it's one of those things that we do a lot of service. We do a lot of, the new installs, residential, builders, commercial. If they got too much to haul or whatever, we got a little flatbed trailer. They throw that stuff on. I think the only problem I've ever ran into, and I was going to buy a van. They actually had a bench seat that would sit sideways against, I think, on the driver's side. And it had seat belts and everything. It was basically like legit. You know what I mean? I've only ran into a few times where, like, if you're running, like if you got a haul bunch of guys, then a truck, I always think is, because a van can only really haul, 2 people. Not to say that we haven't, maybe thrown a chair, let's just say, in the back, or a bucket, and the guy rides back there. And I've had guys, certain people that are fishy about it, I'm not, then you drive, or you ride passenger, I'll ride in the back. You know what I mean? Like, if it's my time, it's my time. And so, I don't know. That's the only thing I've ever seen. Like if you're hauling a crew around like all the time, like I think of like the landscapers, that are always running a crew, of 3-4 guys, yeah, then they got to have those, but typically for us, what I found at least works in this business here was that, your vehicle, your van always worked as it's like your locker. It's like your personal locker at work, you know what I mean? Or at the gym, you know what I mean? Like that's your van to put your clothes in or some spares or, have things kind of set up the way you want. So they typically will drive those because we have learned over the years, we don't travel very far. So we'll go to our jobs and we'll typically do like one truck. It's a 1 truck that day, or it's a 2 truck plan or a 3 truck plan. And those drive because more than likely we're going to get somebody that's going to call during the day that needs a service call, commercial, maybe residential, and it all depends. The secretary's going to call and it's going to be like, yeah, we can fit them in. So somebody's going to have to split, and they can just take their vehicle and go from there. So we don't ride as a big, because obviously, like I said, we just don't travel far. So that's the only time, you know what I mean? And maybe if you want 4-wheel drive or something like that. But like I said, the vans for us, they're cheap. I don't know, they've been just great, just really great. Says Tony says I just got the van. I bought a guy's business. Oh, you did? Oh, cool. Tanner, that's what I use. Noise cancellation headphones to listen to music or podcast all day, and I can answer phone calls and keep working. Nice. Says Eric says when you guys before you cuts the wall button. Oh, when the guy before you cuts the wall button wears, oh man, too short, and you have to replace the station. Oh my gosh, I've done it before. He says, thought the next guy is gonna hate me. I've done it where it's like that, you do something like that and you think the next guy, and then it's like, we always have a joke around here. It's like the next guy is gonna be you. That's happened. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I won't have to, heck, I'll probably be gone by that time, and then it's like, I've been there 5 years later or something. I'm like, oh no, no. And it's kind of like, like that, kind of what comes around goes around. Oh, great. Now I'm going to fix this stupid thing. Who did this? I did this. Been there. Are you guys putting 16 and 18-foot doors on top of vans? No, no. We all of ours go right in the back end, right on the floor. So right here, man. Right here. Like this. Ugh. Not like this with a truck. Ugh. Ugh. Like this. Ooh. Ooh. The back of the doors. Leave the doors open. Put a strap on it. And then you can do it one man. That's what I like about it. I've actually had it where I've damaged doors myself on top of ladder racks because you're scooting them off and the bounce, I just scoot them off. I've had that. I've tried it with dunnage, but even the dunnage will stick. I don't know if anybody's got an idea. Maybe put a roller on the back, so it doesn't, typically otherwise you got to send 2 guys. But see, the thing is what I've experienced is the way the world's going. Oh, can't always rely on the second guy. So guess who has to be the one guy? So the one guy, and I did that one time when the guy that didn't show up, I couldn't stack it. I couldn't put the door on top of the truck. I couldn't lift it. I just could not do it. And I'd be darned if I was going to tear it apart because it was a blizzard, it was raining, it was snowing, you name it. And I was like, I'm not taking this out of this packaging. Like it's got to go up there, and I couldn't do it. And of course, we had a sheet of ice everywhere out here. So I had to call my stepdad, and he came in. We lifted it. I remember we had the door even above our head. We were out here just in the parking lot, right? And our parking lot's got a little bit, just a very, very teeny little slope from the concrete. And I remember I had the truck parked on the concrete. We're trying to stack this thing. The wind started blowing. We're both sliding on ice. Hold on. And I'm like, don't drop it. Please don't drop it. It took months to get in for this door. You know what I mean? Like if we smash this, we're screwed. And of course this, how this is, right? Brand new customer. They do a big resort around here, right? And I'm just like trying to make sure I make this customer, everything goes great, right? I mean, this is like a huge blessing to the business that we finally get to work with this customer. I've tried for years to get in here, right? And here we are. I'm just failing. Now, if it would have been a van, I could have got in the van. I could probably grunted enough. It had been out here on a rack. It had been up elevated enough where I could have tipped it. I could even have maybe the secretary come out. Hey, just kind of coast me, just nurture me, help me. But that truck, especially like a 3/4 ton 4-wheel drive, it was just too damn tall, man. It's just too tall. And I had one where I took the one of the secretaries with me, and I had to take the whole brunt of the door because she just could not handle. I was just like, I'm fine, I'm dying, trying to get it off that top of that thing, and I'm just like, you know how it is. You guys know exactly how it is when you're there and you're in the heat of the moment, man. You know it. When everything, and you sit there and think about all the stuff that's had to happen to make this happen, you know what I mean? And you're there with that door or that door section or the complete door, you're just, you just go, oh my gosh, one scratch, one dent, we're done. I got to come back. I got to make another service call. You know what I mean? Don't worry. It'll be free. The vendor will take care of it. Yeah, but who pays you? When it's your fault, or who pays you the labor and the time. And then that's going to be the day that that somebody smashes into you, or you go off the side of the road or something, or you get that flat tire and you're just going to be grinding. God, I shouldn't even be going back to this. So that's why I drive a van. I live in a van, and I live down by the river. There you go, retired school bus. Heck yeah. I love it, Rich. Retired school bus. There you go. There you go. A whole bunch of people. You can put the garage doors in the back. I love it. You can put all the room you need, and you can live in it. Down by the river. Did a job today, 16 by 8 and 9, and contractor forgot wall station wires. Oh, thank God for LiftMaster. Wireless wall station came in for the safe. Nice. That's awesome. Glad to hear that. or they drywall over the wires. Ooh. That is always a scary situation when it comes to that stuff, man. 2007, Marcus has a Transit extended cargo with low roof for doors and Ranger design interior. Ranger, what's a Ranger design interior? That sounds kind of nice. So how many service calls do you usually get per day? For us, it can vary. I've noticed. So this is something you guys might do or don't or take as a nugget. I've Cap pretty much runs it now. But when I was in the seat here at the helm, I'd always leave Mondays kind of light, and I kept Fridays somewhat light because for whatever reason, I my buddy that passed away that did garage doors, he always told me, he says, "We got to imagine," he says, you got the weekend. Everybody's stuff's working for 2 days. Everybody's hustling their lawnmowers, snow blowers, whatever, at the cabin. He says their stuff, is getting used and it breaks and they don't call you. He says, bam. He says, Monday, they're calling you. Hey, something broke over the weekend. Some don't care. They just call you over the weekend. They don't, whatever. They don't think. And then Friday, people would wait, of course, last minute. We always had, it seemed like we had one or two commercial that would always call in. I always remember this one guy, Red Dog. That was his name. That was his nickname, Red Dog. Hey, Dave, it's Red Dog. And I'm like, go away, Red Dog. I hate you. And I'm like, I already had a bad enough day. And he'd be like, yeah, it's Red Dog. He goes, they screw up another door. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm supposed to go camping this weekend. And so they vary. I mean, we probably get around somewhere between like 3 and 6. If I had to guess, service calls. It can go up to like 8. But what we try to do is what I've always tried to do is I try to give them till like about noon. Noon's kind of my cutoff. You know what I mean? So if you get in, so like sometimes you get those real jerk customers that are like, well, I'm calling around or this and that. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, well, here's the thing. I got to know for the schedule here to fit you in. So you got to either call me back because I'm not playing this game. You're not calling me at 3:00. Going, hey, I called earlier. Yeah, you're nobody to me now. And so I normally gave them to about noon. I always try to set the guys up. Like we'd schedule like, okay, they got a door, and then the afternoon, then they kind of can fill in a few service calls. Or for me, I always played what I called the Joker. I was that guy where I would stay behind to do estimates, fix stuff, clean shop, get inventory, whatever, get stuff ordered, go through the confirmations and stuff like that. And then I would determine, they'll be able to do it. They can't do it. I'll jump in. I'll get this going for them. Or this is an emergency. Somebody, commercial customer. It's a hard balance. It really is. Good question, Peter. All many doors on top of my F-150 are 16 foot taller, man. That's because you're just a badass, Tony. You got a sure winder, you got a brute winder. Got it all, man. Got the pipes. This is Tanner says, yay. He says, I'll put up to 18-foot door on the van. He says, I don't have the overhang ladder rack to the bumper. Oh, gotcha. Says Peter, he says, varies every day is different. It is a variety. Like I said, it can be, and then like I said, it just depends. Like if the economy tanks out and the stock market's going down, I mean, people just, like residential especially, they don't spend no more money. It's like, hello. I mean, you get a few in there, but that's what I noticed in the 2008 when we had the crash back then. It was like, people just, residential went to nothing. Tony varies, not berries. That's right, Tanner, Liftmaster. Noise. He says, I have a custom flat rack on my truck. The guy around here, the Amar guy, my buddy built it for him. He's a good welder. Yeah, they got straps on the side. They're sweet. The way he's got an engineer to hold the doors down. Really nice setup. Really nice setup. Like I said, As older I get, man, I don't like stuff over my head. I just do not like it. I don't like it. I had sections before. It was strapped down, obviously wrong, but I had the whole door flip over on the truck. Dented up the door on the garage door. I mean, it was scary. I've had the Ford Rangers. The Ford Rangers weren't too bad because they don't sit up real high for loading those. And I think the cardboard got wet, and then the vibrations from the rack and the truck really it caused all the paint to wear off. That wasn't cool. That was not fun. Same here. We usually have repeat customers and have been there like, what an idiot. Yeah. Yes, me for sure, whatever reason. I did half-ass stuff, but sometimes I don't get the best possibility outcome. I think later on that could be better. Ready to go. Last job. You're ready to go home. And that's another thing. Eric says, it says you're ready, your last job, you're ready to go home. And that's the one thing, man. I can't stress it enough how the vans have saved me on that. I mean, I don't know how the truck guys, I mean, especially if you're doing like Wayne Dalton or any of that stuff, like all the garbage, the wrapping and the cardboard and the banding. I mean, I've just had it, man, where I'm burned out. You know what I mean? I'm on my 6th whatever job for that day. And it's like, stuff this crap in here. It's time to go home. The day went to pooey, and there's just nothing better than sticking it in that van and shutting the doors and being like, I'll worry about it tomorrow. And you just go cooking down the highway, 70, 80 miles an hour, and you don't have to worry about nothing. Ladder racks engineered for ladder racks. They typically stay on. You know what I mean? I've lost ladders. I've had angle iron fly to the back of my pickup truck, scratched the tailgate. The pickup trucks just don't work for us. They just do not work for us around here. I just do not like them. The vans, I've had so many, especially with the bad weathers and stuff. Like, I've been in there, like I said, I've used the bathrooms in there. I can change clothes in there if I have to. I sweat out a shirt or something, or I have pants or underwear because it's happened. You need to get out of the elements. There's just no way I've ever done it in a truck. No way. Not even if I had a topper on it, because my knees aren't getting no younger. You know what I mean? I climb into that thing. Nope. Everything I can't reach nothing. I just can't reach it. But those cutaway vans, a sliding door behind you to knock out the coldness or the heat or the noise. Man, it's like heaven. It's heaven, man. There's cargo everywhere. I love it. I loved it even for the lights on it at night. It had nice lights that lit up all around it, make you, real visible for any, just whatever. Just felt so safe in it. Felt really, really nice. Really nice. I mean, well worth the money. So much more room. I couldn't believe I could stick. What was it? I think I stuck I had like 2 gate operators in there at one time. And I literally could sit in there with the gate operators, big cabinet gate operators, and wire stuff up. I'm like, this is amazing. Like, I was like, I just can't believe how much room is in here. And I can sit on a bucket comfortably, not like, I don't know. This is hard to explain. Had a contractor. All right, I'm going to give it till about 11, and then I'll jump off here because I got to get some sleep. Had a contractor run 2 wires, 1 year, commercial operators. You guys install new LiftMaster commercial operators? Oh, Eric, don't start that. We're going to go down and check. I'm going to check out some with Josh, I think, end of the month in May. To the LiftMaster T50, not happening. We ended up screwing a 1-button remote to the wall and putting the cover back on. Yes, sir, Eric. Hopefully, a handful of trolley jack shaft maximum openers. Like them better than L5s, Tanner? Nope. Says I like some things, but I'm not sold on them yet. Yeah, that's gonna be sad. The wall station seems cool, and they use 2 wires now. Nice. Which is kind of nice. Should be cheaper. But you gotta run a certain gauge. I learned that with the photo eyes a long time ago. Got to run a certain gauge for those photo eyes, those commercial ones. They were freaking out on me. I think they have a few good things, but I think they need to go back to the drawing board on the Max. Wouldn't doubt that. Back to where you were, kissing your arm. I used to tell my girls they better call the vet because those puppies are sick while I was making muscles. Oh man, I never thought it was funny. I hear you. Oh my gosh, the ability to speed them up and slow them down seems like it would be helpful sometimes. That is something. I thought we could change them. It says I can take a nap in Tanner. Oh, I can take a nap in the van. I think I've done that once or maybe twice. Like I said, the enclosed trailer I used to carry, I had a cot in it, it had a sleeping bag, and it had a pillow. It was all because that one job, that one time I got my one of my techs, he he just couldn't finish. He was just running out of time for the day. And I was like, I'm not rescheduling this. I was like, there were like 2 or 3 more service calls. I was like, I'll just take them. So I ended up cooking up north, I remember. And then I was like, I'm not heading back, man. I'm already like, I don't know, that was probably about an hour and a half one way. And I'm like, I'm just exhausted. And I had to go to that one on a Saturday. So I was like, I'll just sleep in the Walmart parking lot next to the truckers. And of course, we had one heck of a rainstorm. I mean, it's like, wow, I never realized how loud it is in an enclosed trailer when it's raining, but it's very loud. Like you're laying down, mouth open, snoring nap. uh, that's a good one. That's a good one. I love it. All right, guys, like I said, if you see anything out there with those adjustable struts, if there's anybody that makes one, I don't see why they don't. I don't see why they don't. I understand they got the piece ones, but struts, if you come across anything on the torsion springs, not torsion springs, the torsion tube, besides this coupler, the Menards coupler, basically, if you see anything that's unique, that would help reduce the length on these so you could haul them in just a regular pickup truck, nothing crazy, or maybe a car, SUV, for some of these new guys. I was thinking about that. I thought, gosh, what was always the biggest struggle for me was like carrying that stuff on the vehicles. You know what I mean? If you don't have the money to buy the equipment in the vehicle, you're just starting out. Even myself, like I said, if I carry some around just in a little pickup truck, it's like, man, you got to have a full size rig. That gets expensive, especially if you're just kind of a part-time weekend warrior, Can't get nicer interiors. Vans, you can't. Ooh, that's true. You can't get nicer interiors. That's true. I got heated, cooled seats in my truck. Hey, I'm glad you. Hey, I can't fight you with that. I cannot fight you with that. That's probably very true. I agree. The interiors are definitely nice in those trucks, but just remember, that's how you muck them up too. You know what I mean? Because I know when I had my personal truck that I was using for business too, especially some of the places we work, really nasty. You're up climbing up in an opener area and you're all dirty. And you're like, you got to bring another set of clothes. I've had to do that, change. Because I'm like, I am not getting my truck. And then if you got, what's even worse, if you got a buddy or a sidekick or you got a employee and you're like, whoa, man, before you get in my vehicle, you got your screwdrivers in your back pocket and any screws, nuts and bolts I need to be aware of? Let me pat you down. You ain't getting in my seats, man. Or you have to buy seat covers. Done that. We still do that. It's actually on some of on the vans and stuff. But I don't know. I haven't really been too bad. Like I said, in the vans, I know the biggest thing is cruise control. Caps has got it. I don't think mine had it, but oh my gosh, I can't tell you how many times I need cruise control. I hate sitting there fighting with the pedal back and forth, and looking at the speed, especially if I just want to play with the radio, or maybe I'm just gonna say playing with the radio. I want to look at the radio, and I got to keep looking at my speed. I like to be able to just cruise, set it, and go. So that's the only thing. Tony says you can haul anything on anything on anything. If you're willing, there's a way. That's the absolute. I mean, heck, when I had my truck, right? You buy one of those truck extensions for your hitch. I've hauled doors on that with dunnage, I put tools in there. Um, you know, you just do what you got to do, especially if it's like, it just all depends on how you're interacting. You know what I mean? Like for us, or for me, when you're, captain of the ship, man, you're wearing many different hats. So you got to have just, like you want everything. You want all the springs and you want all the hinges and all the rollers. And plus, you got to remember we were dealing with a car wash too. So I had car wash. I had all stainless steel rollers, hinges, cable. So I was carrying like, I mean, I was just carrying all kinds of crap. And then I would have liked if I had the room and the power source. I would have had a generator and all that too. Cruise control be installed aftermarket. Oh, that's you probably I don't even know where you like dealership. I'm sure there's somebody that can do it. You know what I mean? I just always had the older van, so I don't want to spend the money on it. You know what I mean? Set it and forget it. That's right. I like that, Rich. Set it and forget it. I like that, especially with Johnny Law. I just like to tip over a little bit on the speed, but not too crazy, and just fly. So typically, what I end up doing is I'll find somebody I like following, that I'm like, all right, they seem pretty consistent. They're not crazy, not swerving all the road. They're not inconsistently dropping 10 miles per hour and then picking back up and all that. And I'll just follow them. And that way I can just let everybody pass me. I'll just go a little bit slower. And then all I gotta do is keep them on my radar, So it's like, okay, I don't tailgate or anything like that, but just, keep a certain, like a semi truck or something if I feel like it. Tanner says I haven't. It's Tanner. Yeah, Tanner's got a pretty nice setup. I think I haven't seen his interior. Outside's a nice looking rig. In my personal trucks, you have nice warm transmission. Oh, transmission by your leg in the winter. Windows down in summer. It says or my AC works great. That's right. Got car seat covers. Those work good. And the vans, yeah. Have cruise control in my '06 van. Nice. Nice. I don't know. The new van's got it. I think Cap's got it. But I'm like the old school, so all my stuff didn't have it. I had the heck was that one? Like an '03? I don't know, van 2000 or something like that. And it didn't have it. So that's always the thing, though. I'm just telling you guys, if you're out there looking or something, or even a truck, I'd probably get cruise control. Because I tell you, that's just, when you're in a vehicle all the time, like AC, heat, cruise control, radio, I'm good to go. You know what I mean? I like power windows too. Because it's just nice that if you got to roll the other window down, a little stinky stinks going on in there or something, or just you want the air breeze. I mean, I've had the cranks, but you got to wait till you're at a stop, seatbelt off. Then there's going to be a cop that rolls right in front of you. I assume you're not wearing your seatbelt. For like 2 seconds, I had to crank the window down at the stop. You know what I mean? Where power windows are super duper nice. And unless you when you get kids, because they want to play with them all the time. But for a service vehicle, I like the power windows. Power windows, power locks are nice. I don't need power locks so much, but I like my power windows. And my cruise control. It says cruise control in my '06. He says you can always use a stick. How well do the vans tow? Our trailer weighs about 10. That's pretty heavy. I mean, we got the 3500s. They really don't tow any different than like a truck. I mean, to be honest, as long as they're rated for the weight, you know what I mean? I mean, unless you got to get into a diesel and you got a lot of hills and stuff like that. See, and that's why it's all different. But like for us, we're mostly flat terrain around here. We're hauling a scissor lift with a trailer, so I mean, we're hauling probably right around 8,000 pounds, and they do just fine. You know what I mean? I don't hear any complaints, honestly. I mean, there's never been where any of my guys, and I've had a lot of guys, that could come to me and go, I need a truck. And I go, why do you need a truck? Now I've had a lot of guys that worked here that want trucks because it's like an ego thing. You know what I mean? Because they want to drive it on the weekend, and they want to roll the window down, and they want to roll up to the babe, next to the light, and be like, what's up? What's up? Yeah. What's up? But we don't need that. You know what I mean? What we need is for you to get your hiney out of this office and go make some money so we can pay payroll. Tanner, this is my phone number is, what's up, mister? Text me, I'll send my address. I want some corn. I love it. I love it. You guys just need to get in with the sheriff's department. Oh, here we go. And police departments and do the doors. There you go. There you go. We do fire departments. Fire departments. I don't know if we do a couple, but I don't think most of them for the police. And get away with murder. He says speed everywhere. I don't use it. He says 10 miles, maybe 15. I love it. I love it. Me too. Since I passed state troopers doing 15 over. Yeah, I had one today. I passed a sheriff, and I was doing probably about 10, 11, or 12 over meters a little. And I totally like was seeing them. And I tell you what, I was zoned out. I seen them coming, and all of a sudden it kind of snapped on me. I went, I looked down, I was like, oh my gosh, it's like 55, and I'm doing like 60, and I'm like, da, 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 da. I don't know, I think I was doing 62 or something. So maybe it wasn't 10 or 11, no. But I was just that little bit of like, doo, doo, doo. And I'm thinking, I don't even know what I'm going to tell him. Like, you ever just have a kid with you and you just kind of zone out? Like, she wants to go to a park, and you're just like, we're going to get to the park. We got to still go to the store. We're going to go to the park. Shut up. We're going to go to the park. Don't you worry about it. I love you. Like, I kept creeping up the radio gently. Like, okay, she's going to start singing a song or something. She's too young still. But so I'm just like, she's just, Dad, what's this? I don't know. Dad, what's this? I don't know. They're fun. Me too. It says I passed state troopers. It says my Duramax van hauls. Oh, here goes Tanner. Got to blow it up now. My Duramax van hauls. Pick up a little slower, getting up to speed, but it says same trans, but she pulls molds to my of my girlfriends around. Eric, you can definitely use the vans for 16 to 18 foot doors. Get a good rack, and no problem. Towing also shouldn't be too bad. Yeah, that's what I say. We'll do Tony. He says we are a few months out yet, but get you hooked up. Nice. Awesome. All right, guys. I love you guys. You're a blast to hang out with for sure. I hope you guys have a good night. Remember to keep all your fingers. And you guys can always shoot me a text if you got anything. Email me. I'm going to head home. It's time to get out of here. I've had enough fun for the nights. So we'll see you guys. Take care. Peace out.